What's going on? Let's go. Shout out to X513, my boy. I met him one of those gatherings. Lord God, Jose, Aaron. Yo, hopefully everybody's doing good. Look, let me start with this. Let's get right into it. Oh, by the way, a question that X513 says, yo, Sonny, do you have plans to hit up any games this year if it's allowed? I was trying to write there, but then I saw that we were gonna start, and I'm trying to. You see that timer, my 5 minute. That's my 5 minutes to just basically make sure I put everything on Twitter, but I don't have you guys in this long pausing game. So, but going back to your question, I have something going on right now in my life that it might affect that, right? So I'm waiting for the answers. With COVID, it got delayed. If I can, I'm gonna try to go to 1 or 2. Last year I went to 4, I think. If people will have, if we gonna have fans in preseason, I'm hoping to get a sponsor so we can get some of those tickets here for you guys in the channel. But that's more highly unlikely that they're gonna have fans in the preseason. If we had season opener, that Clowns game, I would like to go. But again, we'll see. I have a guy that will give me a ticket if I need to, but like I said, we'll see. It's gonna be a case by case basis. I'm waiting for an answer. Once I get that answer, then I'll let you guys know. I promise. As soon as I know, I'll let you guys know. X5 says, and hope all is well. I'm thinking week 1, 3 in Cowboys is possible. That's what I'm talking about, man. Shout out to you. He came from Connecticut. He met us in the bar, and then he decided to go to the game. I know the outcome wasn't good. Hopefully you and your family, and I saw your son, your wife, and I think it was your cousin, all good people. Shout out to all of you guys. Manuel, ¿cómo estamos? Hopefully everybody's good. So let's start right away. I don't want to botch this. I'm gonna just quote these tweets from Jeff. Ravens starting to do the reopening, and I saw from the NFL.com that coaches might start coming up next week, and mid-June maybe minicamp. That would be just fantastic news for all NFL fans. So they can do it safely. Very contained. Doubt that we're gonna have camp with fans this year. That's a no probably this year, but that's fine as long as we have practices that we have and ongoing. I'm pretty sure. Again, without getting too much into politics, the NFL is one of those leagues that they don't care. I'm like, this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna do it, right? And it looks like they're just moving forward with that. There was something else here. Oh, this is a news that was very good to hear. Miles Boykins, and there's the video going out on the Ravens YouTube, said he'll be going down to South Florida to work with Lamar, Marquise Brown, and others next week. Boykins has been working out in Baltimore with Mr. Trace McSorley. That's all good stuff, man. That is all good stuff. Okay. And let me see some of the comments here. Who would you say will have a better second year? Hollywood, but I think so. There's 2 parts to that question. This is for Laura 7th. Hollywood will have a better year. I think Boykins will have a bigger improvement, if that makes sense, right? So sorry for the noise. My daughters are playing, but Hollywood will have a good year. I mean, Hollywood's probably gonna be our number 1 receiver, but Boykins will have a jump, and you're like, ooh, Boykins. My hope for Boykins, he solidifies that second wide receiver too, like the second most productive wide receiver, and that would be a huge jump for him. But I think Hollywood still. Sonny, you have to go to the Ravens, Steelers, and Pitt. That would be good. That's the one I want to go to. Aaron, do you live in the Pittsburgh area? I mean, that would be. I've never been to the Ketchup Stadium. I think it's gonna be named something else. Manuel said, "Do you give us a chance to?" Of course we give. I mean, we have a chance, but not only that. If we have fans, I think we should be favored. If we don't have fans, it's, in theory, it's like a neutral site, right? And at that point, both teams are so good that either team can win. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was Hollywood Brown, man. Hollywood Brown has been. Last year was Lama putting videos, right? This year has been Hollywood Brown showing that he's working. And he has been working. He has been working. He looks good. He looks good. He looks cut. He looks ripped. Dude is like man, he looks amazing, which is what I want. I want to see him stronger because I want to see him getting that yak yardage. We have a lot of speed with hitting him and Duvernay, so man, that he looks good. I'm happy with what I see. Then we saw a glimpse of Lamar, and Lamar also looks a little buffed up. I mean, arms, he looks buffed up, and that's what's up, man. He needs to bulk up a little bit. So with Hollywood, both of them look like they've been doing their work. And with the news that Boykins is going down there to do work, that just excites me, because this is what I want. I want my team, I want my players to keep bringing that cohesiveness and work. Look, this is what they need. They need to keep working, building that repertoire. Another reason why I think Hollywood will have a bigger year. Hollywood has been working with Lamar. Lamar and him should be gelling with all their ins and outs, right? Okay, so Gurun says, what up? Shout out to you, man. Thank you for joining the live stream. X5 says, Hollywood looks like he ahead of a good 5 to 10 pounds, yes, of muscle, pure muscle. I agree. I think he's going to have a good season and some more versatility to his game. Sweeps and short routes, hopefully. Yeah, and I actually expect him also to see him more on the outside. We have a lot of inside guys. Not many have the speed like Hollywood to play outside. Me saying that, I also expect them to move him all over the place, because that keeps corners to lock onto him, right? If you have a really good outside corner and you put Hollywood on the outside, then you motion him and see the corner move with him, now you can slide him into the slot. And what happens in the slot, and this is why it's different to play corner in the slot and the corner on the outside. And the slot, you have to, as a corner, be checking all this traffic, because Hollywood's speed shifty, he can hit in and out. And right now, as you go in, you can crash with one of your defenders, go out, wide open pass, yak. So as a slot corner, it's very hard. You know, there's a lot of things, components. But outside corners don't slash either. Outside corners usually where the biggest and toughest and number one receivers live. But I'm just saying it's hard. So usually, perfect example. For those of you that follow other teams, I follow football in general. Harris Jr., right, from the Broncos. Dude was all pro slot corner. You put him in outside, he's good, but not great. He gets exposed. He doesn't know how to play necessarily with that out of bounds, right? Because when you're playing man on man, you want to pin him and almost pin them to the outside, because that makes the catch harder. If they come try to grab, you can always push him outside. It's incomplete pass. Remember, they had to grab 2 feet in the inside, not 1 feet, because it's not college. So there's a lot of components versus in the slot, right? In the slot, you don't have that the out of bounds, but again, you have the traffic. There's a lot of components to it. So anyway, let me keep going here. Before we're gonna hit the main topic today, we're gonna talk about the greatest players in the Mount Rushmore of shame. So here says, no, I live in the Dina. Okay, so you live near me, Aaron. I live in the Bernies. I live in the Dina, Maryland. If you know the area, you know what I mean. And I never been to the Catcher Stadium. I wanted to so bad. Yeah, I call them the Catcher Stadium. It's probably a little bit disrespectful. Do you think we'll see more of Jaleel Scott? I think Jaleel Scott ain't gonna make the team. Plain and simple. I haven't been hot on him, and the problem is, it looks like he doesn't perform in special teams. He ain't gonna be performing special teams unless there's injuries. Look, let's count receiver wise. You have Hollywood, Boykins, right? Snead. Those 3 aren't gonna make it. Snead will cost you the same cutting him than keeping it. It's all guaranteed money. You ain't cutting Snead. So there's 3 right there, and then you get the 2 rookies, right? 5. Then you have more as your 6 that does do a good job as special team. Jaleel Scott as a 7th. I don't know. I mean, we need that tall receiver. He needs to come and get it. I don't see it, but he needs to come and get it. Ing Raven, shout out to you, man. Thank you for joining. So Aaron says, Sonny, I think Hollywood will be that deep threat. Boykins will be more of a shame mover like Andrews, and oh man, that would be awesome. So one thing that Boykin said, and this is something that I've been telling you guys a lot. Boykin said, I didn't play as fast last year, and you can see it on the tape. He did the same thing in Notre Dame. He said, I was thinking too much. I was trying to do too perfect. He needs to let his speed flow in the game. Hopefully, with how much he's under his belt, how much training he got, he's route running, because that's what I'm thinking. He was trying to. So when you know something like the back of your hand, right? You just do it. You don't even think about it. You just do it. So if you're running a post, you just do it. You know where you're gonna cut. You know how many yards deep you're gonna cut to get that post. If you're gonna run it out, you know when you're gonna plant that full and cut. If you're gonna do a double move, all these stuff you become natural as you do it more and more. Now, if it's not natural to you, now you're thinking, okay, snap, boom. Need to wait to the 5 yard line. 5 yards line, boom, it's cut out, or cut post, boom. So now you're in your head, right? So now you're thinking too much, and instead of just letting your speed flow, and that dictate. Okay. So I'm gonna do these two, and by the way, my guys, these are gonna be part of a video later on, separate video. So I would like to see comments here, but I also see comments there. So I'm gonna start with the Mount Rushmore of shame, and it's gonna be interesting. I would like to know, what are yours? I'm gonna have notable mentions here. Brendan Kafusi was my 4th notable mention. Sergio Kindle, even though he got injured, I understand, but I mean, he was our first pick that year. Mark Clayton was one that I was debating. He has his moment, but for the most part, we drafted him to be that number 1. And he didn't. And Arthur Brown almost made the cut, but didn't. And if my boy Raven's here, he's gonna hate the first one of my Mount Rushmore of shame. Kyle Bowler. Well, that's not the one he's gonna hate. He's gonna hate the next one. Kyle Bowler. Kyle Bowler was a guy that we traded a first round pick of the following year. Let me see. Year was, I had this year. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We traded the next year's first round pick to go get him. Disappointment. He was horrible. It was just bad, right? It was not the greatest. It was the following year we drafted another quarterback that I like a lot. Troy Smith was a couple years ago. But anyway, Kyle Bowler was just disappointed in general. It made us go to a dark place. It's something I tell my guy Tony from the Squealers. I hate the Steelers so much. I want them to suck. And I said, like, if you guys don't have the replacement of Big Ben, you're going to be in that QB purgatory. Nobody wants to be there. Anyway, number 3, Rashad Perriman. Perriman was a guy that had some flashes, but for the most part, he was supposed to be the guy, right? Flacco never had the number 1 receiver. Boom, we drafted him. All these speed, but injuries didn't help, and then drops didn't help. Perriman is there in the Mount Rushmore of shame. Number 2, Terrence Cody. I don't even know if most people remember. I like this dude coming out of Alabama, and I was like, this dude is a mountain. This dude is huge, man. He's gonna be a nose tackle. Ain't nobody gonna run through that middle, because this guy is like 4 guys put together. He was big, and for most of you at this moment, you're like, Terrence Cody, isn't that the guy that had a gator in his house? Yeah, that's the guy. The guy that had, for some reason, an alligator in Baltimore, downtown Baltimore. He also, he got caught because of the dog came bruised up, and then they're like, this is weird. They sent whoever, police, animal control, I'm not sure. They found an effing gator there, and I'm like, yo, what? A gator there? So then the last of my wall of shame, or my Mount Rushmore of shame, and shout out to Ing Raven. I know that's his boy. Matt Elam. Matt Elam had actually a decent rookie year. Decent. And after that, oof, man, it went downhill quick. Matt Elam was cut from us. Didn't make it to the NFL. He was a pick after the Super Bowl year. And after that, he went to CFL? No, XFL. He was with the DC Defenders, and he got cut there too. Matt Elam, a lot of people say that we didn't use him correctly. That could be possible to an extent, but the dude didn't pan out anywhere else. Like, if you think about the other safety that we drafted, Brooks, like a couple years after him, as a third rounder. I like him a lot. He showed flashes here. He didn't pan out. He also was injured. We cut him, and that's that. By the way, that is the route that the Joker's going right now. Too much injuries. So Brooks actually had some flashes. He's still in the league. He has some flashes with the Patriots line. So you see, so he hasn't been great, but he wasn't a bum. Matt Elam, man, his highlight was that he was selling. He was still a Foot Locker while he was in the league. That was his highlight. So this was my wall of shame, my Mount Rushmore of shame. Okay, my guys. If I miss anybody of your Mount Rush fame, please comment down below, or if you're watching it live, just put it here in the chat. I would like to see that. Okay. By the way, we are gonna take some calls soon. So if you wanna call, you know the number. If you don't, the number is 443-292-2337. It's 443-292-2337. Call in and check it out. Okay. This was hard. Mount Rushmore of the Ravens. And I put a Mount Rushmore picture that included Flacco, J.O. Ed Reed, Ray Lewis. And I went through debates, and then I went back and forth with a lot of people. And after talking to a bunch of you and just checking stats and going back, I developed my Mount Rushmore, my top 8, with 2 notable mention. And the problem is, it's almost impossible to do the Mount Rushmore of the Ravens. And this is why. We have 2 uber super elite players in Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. Another one that is almost as a franchise changer as them, but I don't think quite there, but very close, in John Ogden. And then you have a bunch of good players deserving at that 4 spot. And this is why I did at 8, basically like a top Mount Rushmore and the second tier Mount Rushmore, and then my two notable mentions. Shout out to Asmodeus from Daytona. Look at you. What are you doing there, man? It's awesome. Shout out to you. Hopefully you're having fun. Okay. So, notable mentions. This is for my Mount Rushmore. Tony Saragusa. Dude was a beast. It was a great pickup for us. More than Goose. One of my favorite, and it hurt me not to put him in the top 8. Haloti Ngata. One of my favorite players growing up. One of my favorite players. And he became the instant favorite when he went and broke that nose from Big Ben. Haloti. Shout out to you, man. Hopefully you're enjoying retirement. He made my number 9th. And it hurt me. So here's my top 8. And when I hit the 4, that's Mount Rushmore. 8, Matt Stover. And you're like, SCG, a kicker? He was the offense during the 2000s, right? He was literally the offense. Impressive. When we were old defense, no offense, dude was the offense. Yes, we had Jamal Lewis. And Jamal Lewis would be basically notable mentions too with their Renata. But Stover was reason why that Super Bowl run happened. Because a lot of times we couldn't put points other than 3. And obviously the defense, but the defense, other than defensively, they needed to score. Sometimes Stover was there. 7th, and I went from 4th to 7th after just, digging deep down. And we can sit here and talk a little bit about him. Mr. Joe Flacco. Look, Joe Flacco is an amazing Raven. Reason why we have a second Super Bowl. But if we take as a career, look, there's a lot of players that were great for the Ravens. Did a couple T. But that's not Joe Flacco. He didn't do a couple T here. But Joe Flacco had a hell of a year. Had 2 or 3 years as a really good quarterback, and the rest as a good to average quarterback. So, with that in mind, I had to put him in my Mount Rushmore because losing seasons, only one under him. A couple 8-8s, but only one under him. But I can't, after thinking and reading and just, I can't put him on my Mount Rushmore because he was overall a slightly above average quarterback that was hot on the right time, and we had a Super Bowl. And the year before he played great, and we missed the Super Bowl because we conduffed the kick, and obviously Lee Evans couldn't hold to the ball. So we should have had 2 Super Bowls under him, and maybe that would have moved the needle. But and he was playoff Joe, but during the season he was more like average guy Joe. Okay, so my 6th top Raven of all time, and this is gonna be a fun one because you're gonna be SCG, another kicker. Hell yeah, another kicker. Justin Tucker. We are a factory of kickers here, and it's fine. Justin JT, when that Flacco, a lot of those drives who stall, JT was there. JT has been clutch. JT has been able, with him, we have been able to go to playoff. We have been able to move along. Think about when we Super Bowl run. That's not Corey Davis. The corner, Corey something. I'm blanking on his name. He made that pick. We barely moved the ball, but we had JT, and we knew that game was sealed. That's the thing. How many times we're like, all we need to do is getting close because we had JT. Shout out to JT. I have him 6 of my Mount Rushmore. Okay. Number 5. This was I toss up with this a lot. Terrell Suggs. It pained me to have him slightly out. Terrell Suggs. Talk about a guy that is what a Raven looks like. Boom. Terrell effing Suggs. Corey Graham. Thank you. Yeah, that was the comment before. Terrell Suggs was amazing. Great career as a Raven. I'm sad that he didn't finish with the Ravens, but great career as a Raven. Dude was impressive of everything he did. He won a Defensive Player of the Year. He was a leader, especially in Rayleigh. T. Cecil became the Raven, right? He became the face. He embraced that, and I love T. Cecil. It pained me. I think he's a Hall of Famer, but I don't think he is gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think they're gonna put him in the probably 3rd or 4th try. I don't know, something like that, which is crazy. He should be a first ballot. But my 4th, which now we are entering Mount Rushmore. I believe this guy is gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Multiple All-Pros, multiple Pro Bowlers. Dude was a beast. He just retired. He's looking good. Yanda. Marshall Yanda. Marshall Yanda is, we don't give enough credit to the O-line, but man. And the problem that we have here is that we have in such a short amount of time, we have had so many good players. Marshall Yanda should be a Hall of Famer. Terrell Suggs should be a Hall of Famer. You can argue Stover, but JT for sure should be a Hall of Famer, right? Maybe not some people said Jamal Lewis, but anyway, Yanda I think is gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Love that dude. He's in my Mount Rushmore. 3, J.O. And from here out it's easy, right? J.O. first ballot Hall of Famer, first draft of the Ravens. It's not only that he was the first draft of the Ravens. That can be whatever. He was the anchor on the left side. Even though we had crappy quarterbacks, he was a mountain of a man. Nobody was coming across him. He helped the running game. He helped the blind side from Testaverde to all the other quarterbacks we had through the 2000 Ravens Super Bowl championship. And J.O. was amazing. He was amazing left tackle, one of the greatest left tackle. So you have to be in the Mount Rushmore if people consider you in the conversation for the greatest left tackle on the NFL's history. And I think that ultimately is like where Marshall Yanda will, when we talk about Marshall Yanda, will be one of the greatest guards, right guards in NFL history, and that's why he makes it. So 2 linemen in the top 4, right? Not sexy positions, but 2 linemen. Number 2, and this could be 2 or 1, Ed Reed. Ball hawking Ed Reed, right? Playmaking Ed Reed. God, I would love to have Ed Reed. Yes, we have Thomas, we have Weddle. Neither of them, and people talk about Thomas being a Hall of Famer. He will be a first ballot, whatever. Those people can't clean, and I love Weddle. I like Thomas as a player, not as a personality-wise, but I love me some Weddle. He can't clean Ed Reed's shoes. Ed Reed is spectacular. I mean, Ed Reed was the ultimate playmaking and the deep threat. You don't ever know. And Ed Reed, we had to love him and talk about Ed Reed. Took years out of my life when I was in college and high school. When he was trying to lateral, I'm like, dude, no. It was always when he was trying to lateral, it's like, no, yes. Because usually it worked, and usually somebody took it to the house or for more yardage. It was spectacular. Every one of the smartest guys ever. And like I said, this could be 2 or 1. It doesn't really matter. I think reality is, we should have a statue over there in Baltimore. Hopefully we get that too. We should just make that like Statue Alley or whatever. And him and Ray was just a dynamic duo. Obviously, number 1, Ray Lewis. But again, it could be 2 or 1 between him and Ed. And that's an argument that a lot of people have. And the other thing I would say I'd give the edge to Ray is because Ray was the ultimate leader, and he will make people run through the wall and fight for him. Which I think Ed overall was a better player. If that makes sense. But anyway, either way, both spectacular. Can you imagine the offense we have, the defense we have, and we just take Earl Thomas, Mr. Ed Reed, primetime Ed Reed, boom. Primetimer Lewis, boom. Take Patrick Queens or whatever. Bruh. Woo! The league wouldn't be ready for that. I mean, that would be spectacular. So again, let me do my top 8. Stover. So my outside of the Mount Rushmore. My 2 notable mentions are Haloti Ngata and Goose. The second tier Mount Rushmore: Stover, Flacco, Tucker, Suggs. And my top 4: Yanda, J.O., Ed Reed, and Mr. Ray Lewis. I mean, aren't we lucky in this short amount of all these players? Look, from Stover up, from Goose up, and from Ngata up, right? For all of those players, and there's more. Right? Peter Boulware. You can think about Jamal Lewis. I'm gonna miss some names here, but players that in any other team, they're in the teams that have been there forever. They will be in the Mount Rushmore. We have been so lucky. We have too many players for our Mount Rushmore. We need to expand it. Okay, let me see some comments. So, X5 says Mount Rushmore for him. Ray Reed, Ogden Suggs. So that's his top 4. And then on the outside, Yanda, Flacco, Ngata, Tucker. Struggling to think of anyone worthy. Corey Grant. Shout out to you. Thank you, Harry. And Raven says, Sonny, I know, kind of random, but we all really appreciate you, man. Thank you, Raven. I appreciate you, man. And for those of you guys that don't know, our YouTube family, I would call it my YouTube family. And Raven, Nubo, Coach, Beamore. We have a private chat. When we're struggling, we put it there. We help each other. In Raven, one of my mentors for sure. Nubo too. It's all about love. right? We all want to be the best. We all want to give you guys the best content, but it's all about love, right? When I'm struggling, I go back to them and they help me. When they're struggling, I try to help as much as I can. So shout out to Raven. Dude is phenomenal. Anyway, Harry says Ed Reed will be my number 1, Ray Lewis my number 2. Ray gets it because he never left Baltimore. I think it's more for me that leadership factor. But again, 1 and 2, you can argue Ed Reed could be number 1, and I'm fine with that. This is not me like, oh no. Both of them spectacular. Okay, the Ravens are doing good so far, but everybody they're going. That's from the Chosen One. Shout out to you. Thank you for joining the live stream. Let me do this for a moment. If you wanna be on the show, please text me at 443-292-2337. It's 443-292-2337. Don't be shy. A lot of you guys have been first time callers in the past couple of weeks. It's so fun. Don't worry. You text me, I'll call you. I'll text you back and say like, this is your number, your spot in the queue. Okay, Aaron says, okay, I've watched it many times now. 2011 Ravens Patriot AFC Championship. Lee Evans caught it. It was a catch, fumble in the end zone. I debated that so many times, Aaron, because I do think he had both steps, and if that is the case, there's no fumble in the end zone. It's just a catch. After that, it doesn't matter. I lean to agree, but regardless, he should have secured to not make that doubt, right? He should have secured. Back then, those plays weren't reviewable. They weren't reviewable. Well, I'm not sure. Now I'm not sure. But still. Inquin Bolding and Steve Smith Sr. Should get honorable mention. Chris McAllister, dude, exactly, deserves more credit. I agree. This is what I'm saying. There's so many players. Look, Steve Smith Sr., one of my favorite receivers of all time. I would love to get that energy, that tenacity, and just give it to all my players. Hollywood Brown has the heart and the tenacity of Steve Smith Sr. Dude, he will be the best receiver in the league. That being said, Steve Smith Sr. was here for only 2-3 years. I cannot put him above a bunch of other players. Now Q, we have an argument with Q. Q should have been here, my honorable mention. I agree with that, Harry. Q is amazing. Love Q. Another look, when we were in the draft this year, I kept saying the player we need receiver wise is that Q. A guy that you throw it around him and he's coming with that catch no matter what. He's gonna fight and he's gonna come with that catch. Ooh, my little gift there. A big thanks for everybody you do on your channel. Let's go, Ray. Big thanks for everything you do on your channel. Let's go, Ray. I appreciate you guys. To be honest, you guys, just the fact that the donations are awesome. But just the fact that you interact. For those of you that send me DMs, I always try to reply. And this is the dry part of the year, so I'm trying to put more and more content here. Fun topics. So anyway, shout out to you, Misag the Roads. And sorry when I botch names. I know I try. Go check out the AFC North Talk. We do live stream there. It's Ravens, Browns, Steelers, and I'm missing the Bengals. And with all my boys, but I already got the feedback. I have my accent and I don't talk fast. That is what it is, my guys. So I appreciate you guys overlooking that and coming to listen to this channel. Anyway, the Ravens running game is going to look amazing. Oh man, you know it. According to the rules, if you make a football move, including a tuck of the ball or a move, no, Aaron. Okay, I see what you're saying here. I'm not disagreeing, but in the field of play, it got called as an incomplete pass. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if they could have gone back and review it. Harbaugh couldn't challenge it, so So that was my point. Yeah, it looked like a cash. If I'm not mistaken, when he cashed it, he put one foot down and the other foot looked to me to be down before it got punched out. That's just what I remember seeing. Marcus, long time no see, brother. Thank you for joining the live stream. Hopefully everybody's been taking care of themselves and do your thing. And during this quarantine, it's tough times for everybody. Make sure you're all psyche as well. I need to bring back the motivational lines before I start a stream. Well, awesome, Masak. Awesome. Yeah, when it's an AFC North stream, I love it. Keep it up. So we're gonna take a break because at this point there's nothing really happening for the AFC North talk. But during the season, we're gonna be hot. It's gonna be weekly stream. So go check it out. It's fun. I mean, we all talk trash between each other. The chat, people talk trash. As long as nobody's crossing the line, we allow. It's a place for AFC North fans to clash. So if you like it, it's a project that me and a couple of the guys talk about it, and we made it happen. Okay. So besides Lamar Jackson, who else do you think has a shot to be an all-time Raven? Hollywood or Humphrey? Okay. So obviously Lamar, as Harry said, but I think Humphrey can be, when all said and done, and Drew McAllister, I think, currently holds that position, the best corner in Ravens history. I think Humphrey will be that guy. If I ask you who's the best safety all time, you tell me, well, of course, best Raven safety. It's probably best safety all time, but the best safety, Raven safety at Reed. No question. Middle linebacker, Ray Lewis. Thank you, X513. It will always be a cash in my eyes. Keep out the good. I agree, brother. I agree. Thank you. Shout out to you. Okay, so if you think the best interior D lineman, well, nose tackle, Tony Siragusa. D tackle, I argue, is Haloti Ngata. Outside linebacker, Ray Lewis, right? The other outside linebacker, JJ, is in the conversation. Dumerville for the time that was here, right? The other middle linebacker, you can talk about Scott, right? But when you talk about corner, it's hard, right, to think who. So McAllister's currently, I would say, that guy. But Humphrey is there. Hollywood, I think it needs to show me more than a year. Marlon has done it for 3. Even his rookie year, he flashed. His second year, he came great. And then last year, he was shutting people down. So I think Marlon for sure will be the greatest corner we have if we keep him. So, yeah. Okay. I'm always lurking. You think Boyle could ever make a Pro Bowl? No. Joseph McDonald? No. Boyle does good enough for us. He does all the dirty work. Thinks that will not get recognized for Pro Bowl. Titans are gonna make the Pro Bowl are Titans. They're flashy. Other than O-line, blocking doesn't get you a Pro Bowl. Now, if you're blocking a hell of a receiver, that is great, but that's not Boyle. Boyle gives you enough catches to be dangerous, to be effective, for people to account for him in the passing game. They ain't gonna overwhelm. Like, if Boyle's blocking ability with Mandrew's catching and all production, then yes. But no, I think Boyle is treated well here in the Ravens organization. If he was in another organization, he would probably be more of an afterthought. You think Prochet could be to Lamar what Mason was to Flacco? Ooh. Harry, shout out to you, man. Thank you for that donation, the sticker. That's awesome. I need to change that zombie emoji. I need to do like something more custom. So when you guys donate, something cool comes out. We'll see. There's have a list of stuff that I need to do. Prochet looks good. Prochet looks like a tough cookie. Look, I think this is best case scenario, okay? Duvernay becomes like a Steve Smith. Like I can feel like he could become like a Steve Smith senior, and that would be amazing. Because again, As I was telling you, Steve Smith Sr. is one of my all-time favorite receivers. Even when he was in the Panthers, I wanted him, and the Ravens. So, like, you know, when I was talking like Calais Campbell like a year ago, and it now became, that's how I was. I didn't have a YouTube channel, but that was what I was with Steve Smith Sr. Okay. Prochet is not as tall, but a bulldog when that ball's up in the air, and he will make catches, insane catches, run after the other. So my question is, this is I struggle with this, Marcus, is can he translate this on more than just like second tier D3? I think he was D3, but a sub tier. Like when I remember watching his tape, it was hard to find a good college. I'm like, oh, this college is good. Like when you go Duvernay, they play a couple good colleges and he destroyed them, right? And if you check, Percy, he was good, but there was no, oh man, he did this against LSU or Ohio State, or he's a Big Ten school, right? Even if it was against Maryland, for example, Maryland ain't gonna be a good school, but it wasn't. It's a power. It's one of the power conference school. Not even that. It was hard, but I like what I saw from his tape, so I'm rooting for the kid. Obviously, the Ravens like him because the Ravens gave up next year's 5th round pick which in theory is a 6th round pick, by the way. We traded, so for those of you that don't know, we traded a 6th in Morley for a 5th of the Steelers, and we took that 5th from the Steelers and we sent, I think it was to Minnesota. So we still have a 5th round pick. We don't have a 6th round pick. So in theory, it was a 6th round pick in Morley. Regardless, they like them so much because that they give away next year's 5th round pick to go back and get him. I like Prochet. I'm happy with the receivers they selected. I did want a taller receiver, but I'm happy. I was happy with that draft. Do you think Lamar could dethrone Ray Lewis as the Ravens' GOAT if he wins 2 or 3 Super Bowls? Yes. If he wins 2 or 3 Super Bowls and he is as dynamic, not only with the legs, as a overall we became a powerhouse offense, it's a possibility. Mishag the roads. But it is going to be hard to anybody to dethrone Ray Lewis, because you think about Baltimore, you think about Ray Lewis, just like instantly. But if Lamar has a long career, it's a possibility for sure. You think we add another game-changing player on offense or defense? Clowney, Adams, Brown, or another Pro Bowl caliber player? Thank you for that question, because it's a possibility as prices are going to go down, minus Adams. And I'm going to talk about Adams later. But Clowney, our interior D-line is scary. Can we tell Clowney, yo, you want to take a year of subcontract money, and then next year you have a player option. If you want to stay, you can stay. If not, you can go and try to find more money. We have this hell of a D-line, which that was the problem with you in Seattle and your numbers. Maybe you can put big numbers, and next year you're still going to compete, and next year you can go get that more money. And that way we can get a third for him the following years and 2 years from now. But that is, I think Clowney at this point looks like nobody wants to give him that big contract, right? And that long-term contract, because he doesn't have the sack number. So if we can keep Judon, you can tell Clowney, like, yo, we can bring you. Even if you trade Judon, you can be the guy next to whoever on the other side. Our interior D-line is good, so you're not gonna be able to be double teamed because we're gonna eat them alive in the middle. So you should have bigger numbers. You should go get paid next year. Now, that being said, Adams. Sorry about that. Adams. I don't see Adams here. I don't understand the whole. I mean, I would like Adams, and the only way you can do Adams is you have to trade ET. You have to trade ET, dump some of that salary. Let me see. Let me see here. What is it? Let me see if it is even possible to drop ET. No, it's not even possible. So you will have to just eat it this year. I don't think it will happen, guys. I don't see it. Because it's not only the picks, it's just the moolah. I don't see it. So I would say a no for that one. The Adams, but Clowney maybe. Brown, man, X5. I don't want Brown in here. I don't want Brown disturbing the locker room. Do you think we have an income Bolding on the team? The only one that is close is Prochet. Boykins doesn't look to me like that guy. He ain't that guy. Willie Snead has a little bit, but not that guy. Q will beat you, humiliate you, feel like a child next to him, and he was a big man. Smith wasn't a big man, but he will also make you feel like a child. And Boykins is too soft spoken for that. So yeah, I don't think so. Do you think we have sorry, that was from Manuel. Do you think Judon will prove himself a game changer this year with so much on? He needs to come and kill it because he wants to get paid next year, right? So since he wants to get paid next year, he needs to come in strong. He needs to come in ready to perform. I think you're gonna see double digit. It will help in that our D line is so much stronger, so that should help him for sure. Wait, what? Adams will leave if Roger leaves? Yeah. So Marcus, it will trigger extra 10 mil. So yeah, $50 million cap hit is just not worth it. For Clowney, it all depends what you think, if he fits or not. I mean, I like the dude. At this point, Jordan has been a good soldier, so I think you have to be careful. You don't want to set a bad precedent, right? Because behind Jordan, there's a bunch of other guys that probably like Jordan, and they don't want to. Like, if you cut Jordan now, it's just gonna look bad. So I think this year, it's pretty much set. Other than cheap signing, maybe like a Clay Matthews, maybe more lower tier guys that are rotational but can still impact. Maybe a veteran guy up for the outside receiver that gets cut. Maybe. But yeah, I think for the most part that's pretty much it. I'm gonna take a couple more questions in that. With that, I'm gonna shut it down. Jonathan, shout out to you, man. Hey, Sonny, how's it going? If you know, well, I know you probably on it another stream, but I want you to know your thoughts on the Jamal. Yeah, so that's exactly what I was talking. The problem with Jamal Adams is they're probably gonna try to get a first or a second. A first, I wouldn't give. A second, probably if we didn't have ET. Yes, probably because you have ET, can cut ET. Jamal Adams wants too much money. Theory, can you make him work this year under the cap? Maybe, but now where you put him? You had 3 safeties, 2 linebackers, right? I mean, in theory, you can put him and say to Chuck Clark, like, dude, we need you to take a step back for now. Yeah, I don't know, man. That is tough. I don't know. I mean, if we trade ET, like I said, you're hitting the, I think. Let me see. I think it's like a almost 15 million cap hit if you trade ET. So I don't know if it's worth it. Who's gonna be the breakout player this year? I think this is my opinion. Boykins will be one of my top, but that's a video coming up. Boykins. I think JK is gonna have a good year. I don't know. I think Duvernay, for some reason, I'm liking him, and I think Marlon's gonna elevate even more. But I'll talk about that. So Marcus, I think Clowney can work as a 4-3 DN or as a 3-4 outside backer. He does well either way. He has done both, and he does it well either way. I think the roster gets expanded. I think the roster should get expanded this year. I think should be less cuts. It should be, instead of a 53, it should be like a 60-man roster. That's what I think. Do you think Bozeman will move to center and Fluker will be in the right guard and Powers on the left guard? That's a possibility. Um, I, the reality is we have a lot of good players for that roster spot. At this point, even Skura, if he ain't ready, you would think if we can trade him, you would. Because either Bozeman or Macari, Fluker and Powers, and you drafted 2 guards behind them, right? So, yeah, I think it's possible. I thought that we were gonna do that last year, but who you think would shine better, Queens or Harris? I think Queen will get more opportunity. I think Queen will play better, but he also will make the more mistakes because he's gonna be in the field more. Harrison will be more sheltered from those mistakes. Aaron says, do you think Terrell Suggs will be a first ballot Hall of Famer? I think he should, but I don't think he will. I think he will be like a second or third. Because during Terrell Suggs' tenure, other than that year that he was Defensive Player of the Year, most people didn't thought about him as the best outside linebacker. There was always somebody else, right? But he is a Hall of Famer. Okay. Anyway, my guys, it's gonna be almost an hour. Nobody came today for the live call, which is fine. Again, if you want to be part of the show, we have so many people just call. You can text me, I will call you. It won't cost you anything. For the future, if you want to do it, talk Ravens, I invite you to do it. But for now, thank you everybody for joining the live stream. It was awesome. And hopefully you guys join me next week when I do more topics like that. If there's any topics you want me to discuss, please leave it in the comments section below or hit me on a DM. Like I said, from this live stream, there's gonna be 2 videos being formed. The Mount Rushmore shame. You can go back. I would like to see a lot of your comments giving you your shame, Mount Rushmore, and your Mount Rushmore, like the legit one, the top 4. And if you want to do like me, basically 2 tiers of Mount Rushmore, go ahead and do that. Anyway, thank you for joining the live stream, guys.